In today's FX markets, I want to focus on the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar experiencing some selling pressure today, really the biggest mover when you look at the majors today. A pretty significant reversal actually today. We saw it reversing out of the short-term uptrend, and when you look at today's price action, we now are seeing the Canadian dollar pushing back down to 1 month lows. Currently right around the spot 7536 level. Again, that's the low end of the range now for the last month. And when you look at some of the price action here today, some of the driving factors, I think you have to look at the data that came out this morning. Now, we did get a manufacturing sales number coming out of Canada this morning, and it was a negative number. Now, not quite as negative as what the market had anticipated, but nonetheless, it consisted of, again, this trend that's currently in place where we're seeing these manufacturing sales numbers continue to weaken in Canada. I believe it was the third out of the last four that it has been negative. So we're seeing this downward trend here in manufacturing sales. I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing the Canadian dollar under some selling pressure. A couple of that would be did have a Canadian governor, Royal Bank of Canada official speaking today as well, and we saw after he got done speaking some further weakness in the Canadian dollar. So you're seeing again a repricing here, and I think the real driving factor underneath all of this really came when you look at the data and then the trends currently in place when the Fed basically announced that they're going to be on hold after the last meeting. That's when if you look at a trend or a chart of the Canadian dollar, really it was that October 29th, October 30th period when the Canadian dollar reversed out of the uptrend that it experienced throughout the most of October, and then saw a significant reversal trending back down to the low end of the range for the last month after the Fed announced its policy. And as we continue to see that unfold, we're seeing interest rates adjusting accordingly, and I think that's another factor here why we're seeing the Canadian dollar continuing to realize this downtrend after seeing high of spot 7669 at the peak on that October 29th peak. So we're pushing back down now to 1 month lows, and it looks like the trend is in jeopardy of potentially pushing even lower as we see some of the dynamics within the economic structure continuing to favor the US dollar over the Canadian dollar.